Welcome to Dr. Judy Morgan's Naturally Healthy Pets, today featuring her sister, best-selling author, speaker, and holistic physical therapist, Sally Morgan. Are you looking for a deeper connection with your animals, exploring options in alternative healing modalities, searching for training options that you feel good about? Listen now to Sally as she interviews the top experts that answer your questions to help keep your pets naturally healthy.
Hi, this is Sally Morgan, and you are listening to Dr. Judy Morgan's Naturally Healthy Pets. And I am Dr. Judy's sister, a holistic physical therapist for pets and people, and your host today. You can hear this show every Monday and Tuesday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time on DreamVision7Radio.com. Today I'm here with my guest, Ann Martin, who is a house rabbit specialist, and in fact, she is the executive director of the National House Rabbit Society, and I'm so excited to have her with me because I love bunnies so much. And I think it's really important for a lot of our listeners who are well-informed animal guardians to have some more information about rabbits to share with people. So Ann, in her 6 years as executive director of the House Rabbit Society, she has revitalized the organization's fundraising, volunteer, and adoption programs with an emphasis on saving sick, injured rabbits with special needs who would otherwise possibly be euthanized in shelters. Through House Rabbit Society's rescue and adoption program, she has saved the lives of thousands of rabbits. She opened the House Rabbit Society's first spay-neuter clinic, providing low-cost spay-neuter services to the general public, and I'm sure many of our listeners aren't even aware that you can spay and neuter rabbits. Together with Dr. Carolyn Harvey, the medical director at House Rabbit Society headquarters, which is in California, she is conducting original research on neurological disease in rabbits and presented at the ExoticsCon Vet Conference in 2018. And is currently working to build a surgery suite at House Rabbit Society headquarters, and the organization will be hiring a part-time vet this year. Ann has a BA from Bryn Mawr College and an MCP and PhD from UC Berkeley in regional planning. She lives in Richmond, California with her partner and their 3 bunnies, a cat, and 2 sanctuary foster bunnies with special needs. Welcome, Ann. It is such a pleasure to have you on this show. Can you tell me a little bit about
having me?
How did you get involved with bunnies?
Yeah, absolutely. So my partner, Ian, he is allergic to cats. And so we were researching different animals that might be good companions for our household. And we started doing homework about rabbits, and we learned how clean and tidy they are, that they can use a litter box, and that they have great personalities, and they can hop around your house a lot like having a cat. And so we went down to our local animal shelter at the time here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We went down to the Oakland Animal Services, and we interacted with the rabbits there, and he very quickly realized that he was not allergic to rabbits, and many people who are allergic to cats are not allergic to rabbits. And we interacted with the volunteers there at the animal shelter, learned a lot from them about rabbits and how to take care of them, and then we adopted our first rabbit from the shelter. Then we brought him home, fell in love with him, and continued to do homework looking at House Rabbit Society's website and all the resources that are out there, and realized that rabbits really love to have a friend. They are very social animals and are really happy when they have a rabbit companion. Of course, both rabbits need to be spayed and neutered for that to happen, but so we took him back to Oakland Animal Services to do speed dating and pick out his own friend. And then we adopted our second rabbit. And at that point, I started volunteering with Oakland Animal Services with the rabbits. And after many years volunteering with them and as a trainer of new volunteers in rabbit adoptions and rabbit handling there at the shelter, moved over to the rescue side. And I joined Harvest Home Animal Sanctuary and was on the board there for several years. And then had the opportunity to come to House Rabbit Society. And I am just absolutely thrilled to be with House Rabbit Society and so excited about all of the work that we're doing.
Yeah, it's House Rabbit Society was invented long after I had rabbits, and it's such a helpful organization. You did mention one thing I think people will find interesting is that you took your bunny in for speed dating before you brought a companion home. And I know from my years of rabbit guardianship that many a bun is not as friendly with other buns, and they definitely have ones that they like and don't like. And, you know, people always have this idea of breeding like rabbits, but boy, they really are particular. Can you say more about bunny speed dating and getting a rabbit that likes another rabbit that you're maybe thinking of bringing to your home?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot of speed dating here at House Rabbit Society headquarters. People will bring in their rabbit to find a friend. We actually have 2 appointments this afternoon. We have somebody here right now with their rabbit for speed dating, and then this afternoon we have someone that already has a pair of rabbits, and they're going to bring their rabbits speed dating to find a third. So it's really important that rabbits help pick out their friends because they are very particular about who their friends are. And they can actually fight each other and hurt each other and get all sorts of
funny fights.
Injuries. Yeah, you would not expect it at all because otherwise rabbits are often very sweet and gentle, but if there's a rabbit that is threatening to them or a rabbit that they don't like, it's really good to have someone helping you who has done these introductions before. So here we can help people do the introductions in a safe way, in a neutral space, and help interpret the body language that we see to know if the rabbits like each other or not. So that's really important. We also have great information on our website, if you go to rabbit.org, about the bonding process and what to expect from the bonding process. Because when somebody brings in their rabbit to find a friend, the process doesn't end when they take their new bunny home. It may take several weeks at home before the rabbits can live together full time. So speed dating, it's definitely a process to find the right rabbit and get them to be friends. But it is so rewarding to see 2 rabbits cuddling together and grooming each other and loving each other.
We had 2, which we didn't keep together, and then my ex-husband said, when we were still married, let's put those bunnies together. And my God, they were in heaven, and they grieved when the first one died, and the second one went only a couple months later. But they just would give each other baths and sleep together and do binkies around the living room together. They were so in love. And I brought them to one of the vets around here who specializes in rabbits, or used to, and he could not believe what a tight relationship these 2 little girls had. They were adorable together. What about like guinea pigs and hamsters? Can you put a rabbit in with some of these other species?
Yeah, I wouldn't. So rabbits and guinea pigs or hamsters, they don't really speak the same language. Being different species, they have different body language cues, and so they don't really get the same companionship benefits from those other species that they would from a rabbit. The other concern with guinea pigs is that rabbits can actually carry a bacteria in their sinuses and in their nasal flora that's actually harmful to guinea pigs. This bacteria is called Bordetella, and it can be a normal part of the flora in a rabbit, but it can actually give guinea pigs fatal pneumonia. So, and the only way that could be transmitted is if they're living together and physically interacting and like sharing a water bowl, that kind of thing. They could still be in the same household as long as they're not directly interacting. That wouldn't be a concern. The other concern with those species is that their dietary needs are pretty different. Even though guinea pigs also eat hay and vegetables, that's the primary part of a rabbit's diet is the hay and the vegetables. The pellets are formulated differently for each species. So guinea pigs, it's very important that they get enough vitamin C so that they don't get scurvy. And rabbits don't have a dietary need for vitamin C. So the pellets, the amount of vitamins and minerals, it's very different for those species. So you'd want to make sure that the diet was appropriate.
So what do you think people should know before they decide to adopt a rabbit? I know there is just so much information on your website about this, but can you tell people that might be thinking of getting a rabbit some of the things they need to consider?
Yeah, so I think the first thing that people should know is that rabbits live 8 to 12 years, and I've even known a couple rabbits as old as 13 or 14. So when you're adopting a rabbit, you really want to think about if it's the right time to make that kind of a long-term commitment. Maybe if you're in college and you don't know where you're going to move after you're done with school, maybe it's not the right time to adopt right now. But even if it's not the right time to adopt, you can always reach out to your local rescue group and see if they have a need for fosters. Here in the San Francisco Bay Area at House Rabbit Society headquarters, we have a really robust foster program where people can take a rabbit home for either a 1-month foster or a 4-month foster. And that's really, really helpful to us because we can take in one more rabbit from the euthanasia list of the shelters. But people don't have to make that long-term commitment. Of that 10 plus years, possibly 12 or more years of having a rabbit in their household. So that's the first thing that people should know, is that it's a pretty long-term commitment, very similar to a cat or a dog. A lot of big dogs live about the same amount of time. So another thing people should know is that it's important to find a veterinarian that specializes in rabbits. Most veterinarians really are specialized in cats and dogs and are not exotic veterinarians. Exotic veterinarians get extra classes and pursue on their own extra training and continuing education to be a specialist in exotic species. And in terms of veterinary care, rabbits are classified as exotic pets. We don't think of them as being particularly exotic on a day-to-day basis, not like, some of the other pets out there that might be more exotic, but in terms of veterinary medicine, they're considered exotics. So that may mean you have to drive farther to see a vet. It may be a little bit more expensive than your regular vet care. But it's important to find a veterinarian who specializes in rabbits and understands their needs. We recommend an annual well bunny checkup just to make sure that everything is going well and there's not something starting to develop that we might not notice at home. One of those things that's hard for us to check at home is how rabbits' back teeth are doing. So we can see rabbits' front teeth pretty easily, but rabbits' molars are way back in the back, and veterinarians need a special tool to look in the back and see how that's going. And if rabbits' teeth, so their teeth are constantly growing throughout their lifetime, and they're constantly being worn down by what they're eating. And so if their teeth are not wearing appropriately, they can have all sorts of dental problems that can result in infection or cuts in their mouth, and they can stop eating. And if rabbits stop eating, they can actually die within 12 to 24 hours.
That's
so
really fast.
Yeah, really fast. So going for an annual checkup can help prevent some of these problems from being a big problem down the road. And then, of course, like I mentioned, if a rabbit stops eating or pooping, they can die within 12 to 24 hours. So unlike with cats or dogs where you might say, oh, well, the cat threw up and maybe I'll just see how they're doing tomorrow and if I need to take them into the vet, with rabbits, if they stop eating or pooping, you pretty much need to drop everything and get them as fast as you can into a vet who specializes in rabbits. So that's also something to kind of think about. Some people choose to get pet insurance for rabbits. I personally have it for my rabbits and have found it really useful. Unfortunately, there's only one company in the U.S. Providing pet insurance policies for rabbits. That's nationwide, but I've been really happy with it for my own personal rabbits and recommend it to our adopters. So that's something to consider. It's just the veterinary costs. It's important to know that any pet rabbit should live indoors, that there's a really high rate of early death if a rabbit is living outside, mostly due to predation. So rabbits are very susceptible to predators. They can also have a heart attack if a predator is trying to get into an enclosure. You can just imagine if they're out in the darkness at night all by themselves and a raccoon is trying to get in, they can actually have a heart attack and die from the fright of that situation. We've also seen rabbits where they weren't killed, but they were severely injured by other animals attacking them through the bars. So, having toes or arms eaten off. So outside, they're really susceptible to predation. They're also susceptible to heat and cold. So if it gets too hot in the summertime, they can die of heat stroke, and if it gets too cold in the wintertime, they can die of exposure. So outside, they're susceptible to these things, as well as also to parasites. And we have seen a number of rabbits here come in the last couple of weeks with horrible ear mites that they've gotten from being outside. These are rabbits that came in stray to the animal shelters and just have huge